How you doing, guys? Phantom TCG here, and today I'm gonna bring you a deck profile of the familiar deck, Charmers deck. To be honest, this is a very fun deck. It's a stunt deck. It's not gonna be competitive or anything, but it's a very fun deck if you just want to chill with your friends, have fun, and just mess around with it. To be honest, you can piss your friends. I've done it a couple of times. It's very funny and it's very cool. But yeah, this deck is basically like a big brick. But yeah, to be honest, it's very budget friendly at the moment since it's only pure. I was thinking of playing with Dogmatica since it has a little bit of synergy with Ecclesia since she has 15k defense. And yeah, the other thing, the extra deck, you kind of need to get your hands on these chicks right here. Uh, but yeah. Anyways, the extra deck is not that important to be honest. You can just splash a bunch of cards in here and there. Like always, I'll put the deck profile in the description below, so you don't have to watch the entire video. But be sure to uh, subscribe or like the video if you like my content. So, without further ado, let's get started. Oh yeah, one last thing. Remember, use my deck profile as a reference if you're looking to play this deck. Every meta and local stores is different, and everybody has his own playstyles. So, let's get started. First of all, I'm playing one copy of each familiar. To be honest, they're just basically vanillas. They don't do anything besides just being very big with the spell cards. I'll go into that later. The other thing is the using this the field spell, you can just put them back, search the other familiar. So if you manage to open two of them and one in the field, you can just put it back into the deck and then search for the other one. Uh, Basically, you just really want to see the Earth ones. To be honest, just to bring the Earth Possessed one. I'll show the combo at the end of the video. It's very small and pretty stupid. So yeah, that's it for the kind of main monsters that you want to see. For the familiars, I'm playing for the beast. Playing 3 copies of the Earth one. Uh, 2 copies of the water one of the fire, and one of the wind. Now I'll go pretty quick with their effects. This guy right here, the earth one, during your opponent's end phase, you can destroy one face-up monster you control and special summon him from the graveyard. Jigabyte, if he gets destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one monster with 15 attack and 200 defense from your deck. This guy right here, the wind one, does the same as Jigabyte, but instead it just revives the monster. And the fire one, if he gets destroyed during your standby phase, he just revives himself. And they all have the same effect. If you control a spellcaster, you can special summon them from your hand. Now, going to the Awakening of the Possessed, we're playing 2 of the Earth one, basically the best one. To be honest, I was thinking of playing 1 copy, but to be honest, it's pretty good. Not gonna lie, it swarms the deck, the field pretty easily, and yet you can kind of summon him pretty easily and pretty fast. And I'm playing 1 of the water one. Now, I'll explain their effects. They both have the same effect. When they're sent to the graveyard, you search for one one possessed spell or trap card, or search the appropriate spiritual water art or earth art. We're not playing that since it's super dumb and not useful anyway. Now, you summon them by using 1 spellcaster and 1 level 4 for earth for him and 1 water for him. Now, when they're summoned, the earth one special summon 1 level 4 monster from the graveyard, and the water one discards 1 random card from your opponent's hand, and you and your opponent draw 1 card. So you can just get 1 additional card. Sometimes not the best. But this card can be anything else. You can play the wind one, or you can play the fire one. To be honest, will prefer playing the fire one since it comes in the structured deck, and it could burn your opponent in case you're in a very tight situation. Since that's the effect of the other one, the Wynn one just basically shuffle something back into the deck or back to the hand. I don't really remember, but this is what I'm playing currently at the moment. To be honest, if I'm from my personal experience, I will just get rid of this guy and play something else. But as of now, that's what I'm currently playing. The other main monster, luckily, he comes in the structure deck since I didn't have any copies to lay around, any copies. Playing 3 Fairy Tale Luna. She basically searches any of your familiars, to be honest. So, yeah. The other effect, if you're not familiar with her, you can target her or one monster you control. Probably her. The thing is, this card is in Spanish, so it's kind of hard for me to read it. But you can just bounce your opponent, and your opponent can negate this card's effect by sending the monster with the same copy. So basically, just like a disruption. It's a quick effect. Not gonna lie, it's super very good. So on normal summon, you search one of the familiars with the field spell. You can put them back. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a very good card, not gonna lie. With this deck, super good. And finally, but not least, we're playing 3 effect failures since they came in the structure deck. You can play Ash Blossom if you manage to fit them somewhere in here, but sadly, I couldn't get my space, and I lent my Ash Blossoms to one of my friends. Now, for the spell cards, like I mentioned, since I have the 3 child decks in Spanish, it's gonna be a little bit hard for me to actually translate a couple of the names. I'm playing 3 copies of Spirit Charmer, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Spirit Charmers. This card, its effect, you can discard 1 card and take 2 cards from your deck. You can choose up to a combination between spell and trap cards and monsters. You can choose from familiars and familiar possess, basically the monsters that you'll be adding to your hand, being these guys right here. And from spell cards, you mainly have these guys right here. You can search for up to 2 cards. You can search 2 and 2 or 1 and 1. One is going to be set, and the other one is going to be added to your hand. It's not the best effect, to be honest, but to be honest, it just searches your one-offs of the spell and trap cards. And searches this guy right here. If you have the field spell, you can just put them back, and I'll go into that right now. Sorry. Playing 3 copies of field spell. To be honest, this card is pretty insane in a way. Since if you control a monster that is 15k defense, the first effect that your opponent will activate will get negated. So basically your opponent could play around it, but sometimes they don't have that way to play around it. So yeah, it just cuts them by surprise. The other effect is during your main phase, you can show one of the spellcaster monsters and search your deck for 1 15k attack and 200 defense monster from the same type. So that's what I said. So, I was mentioning. So if you have any of the charmers or the familiars in your hand, you can just reveal them, put them to the deck, and search the appropriate beast, basically. So you can just pair it up with another monster. With another spellcaster monster on the field. Now, playing 1 terraforming to search your field spell, 1 Raigeki, and 1 Awakening of the Possessed. This card is insane, to be honest. If you have a way to actually get this card as fast as possible into the field, it will be the best thing ever. Now, I'll explain this card as fast as I can, because basically this card makes the entire deck. Sadly, I'm playing 1 copy since I can add it via Spirit Charmers and the Possessed Familiars. the Awakened Familiars. This guy's right here. So, uh, basically, this card boosts your monsters by 300 for each different attribute on the field. Now, the other effect is when a spellcaster monster with 1850 attack is summoned, just draw one card. Yeah, you can draw a couple of cards during your turn and your opponent's turn. I will go into that later. And the other effect is that your familiar monsters cannot be destroyed by card effects, if I'm not mistaken. Somewhere in here. Charmers and familiar possessed monsters you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Or by card effects. So basically this card boosts your monsters by a lot. So your opponent must play around them. So yeah, that's basically the entire spell lineup. For the traps, we're playing this one right here. Let me search. The name is Possessed Partnership. This card is very dumb, to be honest. Alright, this card's effect is you can special summon one spellcaster monster with 15k defense from your hand or graveyard in attack on face-up attack or face-down defense position. Now, when the monster is summoned, if there are 2 or more different attributes on the field, you can destroy one face-up card your opponent controls. So basically, you can just get rid of one of your opponent's monsters, but yeah, and get an additional card. Since this is a trap, you can summon one monster during your opponent's turn, and if you have Awakening of the Possessed, you basically draw one card. So you can draw 2 cards technically each turn. With this card right here, getting a little bit of card advantage, but yeah. The other effect is this card's in your graveyard. You can save the turn it was sent there. You can banish this card and set from your activate from your graveyard one possessed one trap cards. The only 2 cards we have are these 2 right here. I'll go into this card right here right now. In case your opponent gets rid of them, you can just use this effect and activate them from the graveyard. This card right here basically floats your entire familiar lineup. So if one monster or monsters gets destroyed by card effect or something, you special summon one monster from your deck with a different attribute from the monster that is on the field. And all your familiar monsters, when they attack, they gain 800 attack. So basically, it's an extra pump to your monsters, and just float them. And yeah, it's a very good card. Hopefully, I said the text correctly, since, like I said, it's in Spanish, so it's kind of a bit whack for me. For the rest of the trap cards, I'm playing 3 copies of Solemn Judgment, 3 copies of Lost Wynn. This could be Crackdown. I'll explain why when I reveal the last card. And the last card is 1 skill drain, since your entire monsters, this guy's right here, the familiars don't do dipshit, so they're just kind of like vanilla, so you just negate all of them so your opponent can play. So it's very fun. So now, going to the Lost Winds, I'm playing Lost Wind just to get that extra negate if I'm going first, and set it if my opponent summons something from the extra deck. That will normally happen. Now, the reason I'm saying that you could play Crackdown instead of this card right here is because of this card, of the Earth monster right here. His effect is in the graveyard. Like I mentioned, you can destroy one monster you control, and special summon him during your opponent's end phase. So, if you're playing Crackdown, you can steal your opponent's monster, and then during the end phase, use this guy's effect, destroy the monster you stole, and special summon him. It's pretty cool. You can just get rid of one problematic card, but it's a big meh. Now, for the extra deck, it's up to personal preference, but to be honest, the cards that you really need is one of each of the Charmers. You're going to go into one of them. That's basically it. The entire combo relies on just summoning one of them during at the end. So yeah, you can just do a bunch of shit depending on your opponent's deck. You can summon something revive something. With this guy right here, I revive an alpha one time. And you can go into some weird link plays, to be honest. So yeah. I'm playing One Nightmare Phoenix, One Nightmare Cerberus, pretty self-explanatory, 1 IP Masquerina. It's not really necessary to play her, but I'm playing just in case. One Ninjutsu, to be honest, I have summoned this guy a lot, so if you manage to get this card or have this card available at your disposal, it's really a good spot to play it. One Nightmare Unicorn, in case I go into IP Masquerina. I'm playing one Celine. Now, I don't have access code talker, and I just put this random card into my deck just to troll. The attack does the same. It's pretty okay with the Awakening, since she has the same stats as your familiars. You can revive, go into access code talker, blah 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 blah. You kind of get the point, to be honest. So yeah. Now, for XYCs, I go into these guys a lot, since basically I have access to a lot of level 4 monsters, and I can just get 2 level 4 monsters on the field as fast as possible. So I'm playing 1 Castell, 1 Gagigobyte, 1 Bagushka, 1 Vigorous. This card is not really that important, to be honest. Gonna put it like this, and 1 Exit on Night. Now, the main cards I normally go, to be honest, are this guys right here. Castell, I summon had 1 just to get rid of 1 problematic card, and that's basically it. Now, the reason I'm playing Gagigobyte is in case I have 2 monsters with the same attribute, for example, 2 of this guy right here, and have a Jigabyte or something like that. I can just overlay these 2 guys up, summon Gagigobyte, and swing for extra attack. Since this card increases the attack of all monsters you control by 300. He's going to become, if I'm not mistaken, a 25. So it's just basically 50k if you swing this guy directly. Now, Exit on Night, you can just get rid of your opponent's board. And Bagushka, in case you're breaking, you just summon 2 monsters, go into Bagushka, and get 3 extra card if your opponent doesn't manage to destroy him. So that's basically it. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you have found this video helpful, be sure to subscribe, leave a like, really appreciate it. And sorry that the video was extremely long. I just really wanted to explain a couple of cards here and there, since they're new and they're kind of weird. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Peace. Like I said, deck profile in the description.